wanted to make just a quick video to briefly explain and describe what our ABC sheet is going to look like for data collection. It is the same sheet that we used last year. So here's just a quick walkthrough of what that ABC sheet looks like. Remember, ABC stands for antecedent, behavior, and consequence. So the very first section here on the sheet is setting events. So this is just like, is that basic information. What time did it start? How long was it? Who was it with? What was the activity? All that can just get filled in there. The next section is the antecedents. This is where we are just putting a check mark if that antecedent is applicable. This should only have one check mark for each behavior episode, and each row would be a behavior episode. So there is alone automatic, there's attention seeking, there's denied access, there's demand given, and there's transition demand. So just briefly, alone automatic would be if we can't really figure out, we can't really figure out what it is, it's internal to them, that would be an alone automatic reinforcement antecedent. Attention seeking is when they're not engaged by others, but they want somebody to engage with them and they just engage in problem behaviors instead of appropriately asking for attention. Denied access is just that, being told, no, you can't have something right now, this isn't available, we can't go there, things like that. Demand given is, again, just that. It's giving the student something to do and they don't want to do it. Transition demand is very similar to demand. However, it's a specific transition demand that's given. So, having them transition from a break to work, that would be a transition demand if there were problem behaviors. The next section is the behavior. This is a frequency count. So this should be a number. It should be the number of occurrences that behavior had during that episode. So if a student was swearing and they said 5 different swear words, so there would be a 5 that would go in that section then. Okay. SIB stands for self-injurious behaviors. We don't really have anybody that is displaying those behaviors, but that column is there if we would need it. AO stands for aggression to others. That is just that. Any kind of hitting, kicking, biting, anything like that would be counted there. PD stands for property destruction. This could be swiping materials off the desk, ripping papers, throwing pencils, things like that. IVC stands for inappropriate verbal comments. So this is where your swearing comes in. This could be the volume that the student is talking in. This could be task refusals and things like that. Elopement is leaving the work area without permission. Dropping is obviously falling to the floor from either a seated or a standing position. And then this last column is other. So if there is something that happens that is not typical for that student, that I would put in a number and then in that box still write what was that behavior? What did it look like? Or put a little asterisk in there and then write down at the bottom or on the back, what did it look like? Just so that we can, if we need to, continue to track it and we will know exactly what it looks like. All these behaviors that we should be tracking are outlined in the positive behavior support plan. So please be sure that you have reviewed those and go back and review them as it's needed as well. The consequences, this is what we have done after the behavior occurred. Did we keep the demand on? Did we use planned ignoring? Did we use verbal redirection? Did we prompt them in any way? Did we kind of block access to things? That's what that looked like. This perceived function, it can give us some information, especially if we're not really sure what the true antecedent was. If it looked like it could have been alone, but maybe there was some sensory needs to it, and so it would kind of be perceived. It's not really, this section is not crystal clear that that's the antecedent, but that's kind of what we could perceive it from everything that we experienced during that behavior. I am not as concerned about this perceived function as I am about the antecedents being checked. Okay. If you have any questions during the day about filling these out for any of the students that have them, please let me know. I'd rather answer those questions and have the sheet filled out the way that we need it and getting the correct data than having sheets with inaccurate data or data that's not taken correctly.